Hey gamers, this is Strider from MetaGaming, just reviewing some Anarchy Reigns. This game is made by Platinum Games, of course, the makers of Bayonetta. Coincidentally, she is a DLC pre-order bonus, which this game kind of flew under the radar for me, so I didn't even know it was coming around. Now, what's interesting on the first main menu here is that we have the option for the campaign, which is the black or white side, depending on how you choose, of the campaign. A little racist sounding, but it really isn't. Then we have the multiplayer option. Then we have the tutorial mode, which will run you through the basics of the game, since the actual campaign doesn't throw it in your face and be like, hey, you got to press this button prompt before you can continue and blah 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 like a lot of games do. Then there's the training mode, which will help you learn character combos and killer weapon combos and the like. And then in the options menu, one really interesting fact is that they do include the Japanese audible dialogue as well as the subtitles for the game, which is very unique. A lot of games that are imported into the US do not include. Now, when I play games, I usually start on the hardest difficulty, and if necessary, I will knock myself down a level or two in the difficulty. But normally, most of the time, I can complete them on a hard difficulty. But this game, definitely, when it says hard, it actually is pretty freaking hard, unless you're some prodigy of Anarchy Reigns. Anyway, so I continue playing on hard. I refuse to give up, but this game is very daunting on hard. I will admit that. The thing I noticed when I was playing the game is that the CGI work is incredible. I mean, it is on par with some AAA titles. And then we actually get into the game, and it is a totally different feel to it. It's very muddled, very dirty, grungy looking. Not very clean at all when it comes to the actual scenery or anything. The rendering is slow on the Xbox. You could be sitting in an area for a little bit, and so probably about a minute or two, and you'll notice all of a sudden a pipe will appear next to your feet or something ridiculously silly like that, where some textures should just automatically load like right off the bat, but they don't. And so that just leaves with a bad taste in your mouth when you're looking at the game. Combat mechanics for this game are pretty simple and straightforward. I know the game does come with a training ground, quote unquote, but honestly, it's simple stuff like XXX, XXY, YY. You know, simple, stupid little combinations like that you really don't need to look up a guide for in order to play. Then there's like the killer attacks, or the killer weapon attacks as they call them, which is hold the left trigger, press Y, or hold the left trigger, press X. It uses your endurance bar, in which, in hard mode at least, you only get 4 of these little bars, and so 2 heavy attacks, and you're completely wiped out. You get 4 light attacks. And then for the basic combat enemies, they're pretty much fodder. Even on hard, they don't really ever get a chance to hit you, because you just flail around the screen pretty easily, knocking them away, and as soon as they get hit, they forget what they're doing, and they don't really attack you ever unless you're standing still. Even if you're standing still for a while, they kind of just surround you and like stand there. So the AI for the basic enemies are kind of dumb. But then there are like the executioners and the super mutants and whatnot. They are pretty intelligent. They actually do attack from time to time, which isn't saying much. The super mutants are especially more difficult, but the executioners are pretty slow. But when they do come in numbers, they do come in numbers. They actually do hit you, and they do attack. Just if it's one by itself, it's a lot easier to manage. As for the boss, quote-unquote, battles go, the boss battles are pretty much fighting if you're playing multiplayer, and it's usually a one-on-one. Sometimes you'll fight multiple of these characters against you, and It's pretty much just playing multiplayer, except it's like AI controlled, but the AI, at least on hard mode, likes to be cheap. It's not really like a you can't really defend yourself except for the guard button, which they have attacks that can break the guard. And then you have this move where it's called a 360 attack, and you just press the X and A button together, which you can only use once in a while, and that's when you can use it when you're like, oh, you get knocked down. All right, I'm gonna hit X and A, and I'm gonna use this 360 attack, and it knocks him away, unless the computer decides to be, oh, I got superhuman reflexes, I'm going to guard and back away, called evade, really quick, and you just wasted that 360 attack. You can't use that again for probably another 20 seconds or so. It's got a cooldown, what it seems like. You can't just keep spamming X and A over and over again. Otherwise, you kind of either just jump or do a light attack, and jumping is basically useless since most attacks hit you in the air anyway. Yeah, I don't know what the reason is that. Anyway, so the game pretty much starts you off with 3 basic missions, or free missions, in which you can replay whenever you want, as much as you want, to gain the most points. This game relies on points heavily, which you get for everything you do pretty much. You punch a guy in the face, you get points. You kill a guy, you get points. You kill a multiple of guys, you combo guys together. Like I said before, combos aren't really intricate here. You just pretty much smack them around, and you keep smacking them around. As long as there's guys around you, you just smack them and smack them. The combo meter lasts for a really, really long time. So you don't really have to worry about that unless you get hit and knocked down, and then your combo meter might be away. And it also doesn't show anywhere, which is kind of annoying. So you don't know if you're going to lose your combo meter anytime soon or whatnot. Anyway, so the free missions, you just basically play over and over and over again to get as many points as possible, as much as you want. And at the end of each free mission, or after each mission, you get graded. And the grades go from the typical bronze, silver, gold, and then there's platinum. And you could get platinum anarchy medals at and after the level, after the level or map or whatever, after you finish the 3 campaign missions, you get an overall grading. Now, as far as I can tell, this grading means Jack. I mean, not Jack Kamen, the character from Mad World / this game. It literally doesn't mean anything, as far as I can tell. It's just a, hey, you did this well, here's a thing. There's not really an achievement or anything that you can promote being like, hey, I did this well in this game, yeah. No, no one can see it. No one cares. You just do what you do. Just beat the game. That's all you have to do. Anyway, for the single player, it's alright. I mean, I guess that's not the main focus that they really wanted you to do. They probably wanted you to play more multiplayer anyway, since that's what this game kind of focused around for the most part. And so for the multiplayer, there are tons of gameplay modes that you could play. The problem with that, though, is that this is such a niche game that there are so many different kinds of gameplay modes that if you're looking to play just Deathball, which is one of the gameplay modes that I can only assume is like soccer, since can't really play it in multiplayer, since finding a match for that is like pulling teeth. Yeah, good luck, because it's not really that easy to find matches online, if you ask me. I mean, they do have the quick match option, they have the custom game option where you get to select what you want to play, but then there are very little games available, and you know, it's okay for the most part, but it's such a niche game. There shouldn't be 50 million different gameplay modes. Especially, one thing that really irks me about some developers is they think it's a good idea to release multiplayer DLC, in which this game does include when you have pre-ordered it. It comes with two gameplay modes, which are exclusive to this pre-order bonus. And so, this creates a diversion in the multiplayer community where you have people with this exclusive content, which is good for them, but everyone else that didn't pre-order it is playing the main basic stuff, which makes you have these two separate communities essentially. One really, really tiny one that we're able to pre-order this game and get the bonuses, and then the regular community. When a company releases multiplayer modes, they honestly should be free. They should be included in like a title update or something. They shouldn't cost money, because when they cost money, people aren't going to buy it. But I mean, there's going to be a select few people who are actually going to go out and buy Microsoft points to download these modes to play, but then they're going to probably be lone wolves out there, and it's a waste of money. So when multiplayer DLCs, I'm looking at you guys, the developers, listen to me right now. When you're making multiplayer DLC, just make it like characters or maps or something silly, but retrofit that into the normal game. Don't make a separate community and make separate player things where it requires you to have this DLC, because that just, makes it a split community, and you don't want to do that, especially with a niche game like this one, where you're not going to have 300,000 players on like Call of Duty at any given time. Granted, this game is not all bad. They did do something really interesting and really unique. Well, not extremely unique, but it is a benefit to do this in games. So most of the multiplayer characters to play online are locked, and you have two options to do this, to unlock them. You have option A, which is play the campaign, find them in the campaign, and beat them, and then you automatically unlock them for the multiplayer use. And then there's option B, where you get to actually just play multiplayer. Say that's all you want to do. You just like this game for the multiplayer. So you just play multiplayer, you just rank, all you have to do is rank up. That's it. Just get to a certain rank, and you unlock that same character that if you don't want to play the campaign for, you get them right there anyway. All you have to do is play the multiplayer and rank up. That's it. In order to rank up, though, you just play games. The better you do, the more points you get to rank up. It's kind of like every other multiplayer game. Just play the game, do it well, rank up really fast, and you get everything you need to be complete with the game. So if I were to grade this game and rate it on its overall status, I would say this game is probably about a 3 out of 5. Considering the graphics for the in-game portion could be much better, but the CGI work is great. Combat could have been expanded a little bit. There could have been more combat combo trees or something. The multiplayer is fun, but like I said, it's a niche game, so finding matches is going to be harder and harder as the time goes on. And really, this game already starts as a bargain bin price, but you can honestly probably wait a little longer. So there we have it. This is the first review video for MetaGaming on the MetaGaming YouTube channel. This is Strider. Please follow us on Twitter at meta_gaming. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also like our Facebook page. I will provide all the links necessary below in the description. And please stay tuned. Next week sometime I will be uploading some DMC video coverage. That is going to probably just be a gameplay video or first impression video, as I am expecting this to last me a little while of gameplay wise, and I'm really excited to play it. I really want to see what Ninja Theory has done with our classic Devil May Cry series. Really excited. Anyway, gamers, that's it for me. Remember, play hard, win harder.